What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Extreme, finally back with another video. It's only taken me a year and a half to make this one, but yes, after a very long and lengthy delay, I am back. And as you may have noticed, there have been some changes. Yeah, I got a name for the podcast finally. I changed my name. And yeah, I kind of want to talk about that. I also want to talk about where I've been, as well as where I'm going to be going in the future with my channel. Specifically the immediate future, which we're going to get into all of that in the course of this episode. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsors. We have none. Yep, none, zero, nada, zilch. I just wanted to say that. So, moving on though, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and for those of you that are new around here and checking this video out for the very first time, thank you very much. I will try not to alienate the people that don't know anything. So, that being said, let's start off with why I changed the name of my channel from XtremeFTW Gaming to just XtremeFTW. The answer is actually very, very simple. I don't want to be pigeonholed into only doing gaming content. Sometime over the course of the next year or so, I want to branch out and do other things. I have some ideas for a variety of different content I'd like to do, and it kind of hurts what I'm trying to do if I'm purely a gaming channel. So, there you go. Ultimately, the true name for this channel should be XtremeFTW Entertainment, but for now, I'm just going to go with XtremeFTW, simply because it's a much easier thing to say as opposed to, you know, the whole spiel. But, yeah, so that's primarily the main reason for the name change. But it also has to do with the fact that this year I turned 37 years of age, and as I've gotten older, I've very aggressively realized that, I don't want to be labeled something I'm not, and that's pretty much all there is to it for the most part. I am a gaming channel, that's not going to change, but I don't want to be looked at as most gaming channels are looked at, which is how I was looked at in the past, and that's pretty much, it's another guy making videos. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm going to still be, but I don't know, like I said, I don't want to be pigeonholed exclusively into gaming, and eventually I will do other content. That's not something I have planned in the immediate future. As I said, there's plans for the immediate future, that I will talk about later on. But I also want to talk about this show finally having a name. And for those of you that were not around back when I did this, this show has actually had 3 different names. It started as just a simple video series called Road to Max Prestige. That turned into the Road to Max Prestige podcast, then just the podcast, and now, of course, we are the Road to NoWhere podcast, because God's honest truth, I'm on a road to nowhere in life, so why not? It just fits. So, jokes aside, I really like the name Road to Max Prestige for my podcast, but I'm not doing Call of Duty content, as very evident by what's on your screen. So, yeah. That doesn't fit. And then just calling the podcast, that kind of worked for a little bit. It was, it was what it was, but I actually think there is a show out there called The Podcast, so, yeah. But I like the name. I don't know if it's being used somewhere else. If it is, tough shit. I'm using it anyways. And all joking aside, if there actually is another podcast out there called Road to Nowhere Podcast, well, crap. Everything I've looked up, though, says no, so we're going with it. Moving on. But that's pretty much the majority of the things I wanted to cover in this segment. Unfortunately, I still have time, so I guess I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. And believe it or not, that is something I want to do differently than I did in the past. In the past, I would just throw together a show by just rambling on incoherently. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to have a format for these shows, and these will be a weekly show, mind you. Now, they will cap out at about 30 minutes in length for the most part. I don't have great internet where I live, which brings me to essentially the next thing I should probably talk about, which is the fact that I no longer live in San Diego, California. Again, for those of you that are new around here, when I started my channel, I lived in San Diego. I lived in a very crappy 2-bedroom apartment with my father, who is in his 60s, now almost his 70s, and my brother, who is disabled. Okay? It was the three of us in a 2-bedroom apartment in the East County area of San Diego. It sucked. While we lived there, we dealt with everything from bed bugs to bullets to deadly spiders to noisy-ass neighbors whose dogs like to bark all night long. I remember my first week there. The damn dogs would not shut up until 8 in the morning. They started barking at 9 at night. This went on every freaking night until they moved out a year later. I hated that place. I really did. On top of all of the bad, the rent there started at $12.50 a month. And before we left, had skyrocketed to $16.50 a month for a 2-bedroom in one of the crappiest areas of San Diego. Yeah. Pardon my language here, but fuck that. By the way, that's another thing. In many of my past videos, I used obscene language quite a bit. I am going to try, keyword is try here, to avoid using said language as much as possible, but I make no promises, okay? I will try. That's the best I can do for you. Moving on. Let's see. So, in the last video I did, I talked about how I was going to be moving from San Diego to Montana. Well, that move happened in July of last year. Well, technically it didn't, but the process started. So in July of last year, my father, myself, and my brother found a house in Montana, exactly where I'm not going to say right now, just because I'm still getting situated and whatnot. But we found the house, my dad put in a bid, and everything's good. We're going to get the house. They took the offer. Great. My dad is getting the house through his VA benefits, and so they need a bunch of paperwork from my dad. Now, that little tidbit, I'm going to kind of jump ahead here and tell you guys, would come back to bite us in the ass, because one, my father is very old school mentality. By that I mean, he gives you money, or he gets approved for money, he gives you said money, you give him the thing. That's it. That's not how it works. And unfortunately, it extended the duration of our the sale process of the house by about 3 weeks. We were supposed to close at the end of October, and that would have been great, except it didn't happen that way. So getting back on track with the story as I was telling it, in August we found out that the apartments we were living in had been sold. And by sold, I meant the sale and transfer of ownership took place exactly 1 week after we found out. And in the process of finding out, we also learned that, the new owners had absolutely every intention of kicking us the hell out. And they did. Halfway through September, less than about a week and a half before we were supposed to be out and be heading to Montana. Bad shit. Just all bad. No good. Because they basically served us with a notice that said, get the hell out. Now, we could have fought this notice, and we probably should have, under any other normal circumstance, we would have. But because we did not want to risk something interfering with us getting our home, we just said screw it, and we took tail and ran, because in all honesty, that was more important to us than anything else. So jump ahead now to, we're moving out. We've gotten all of our stuff into storage. It's now time to leave to go to Montana, and we basically can't take anything with us, which is kind of bringing us to here and now, and why it's taking me so long to make a video. See, all of my equipment is in storage in San Diego, not in Montana with me. Yay me. This situation is being rectified as we speak, however, but I got impatient and decided to go ahead and order, some stuff. And I did, and like I said, I got a new PVR. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned this yet. I have a new PVR, I have a new mic, I have a new mic rig stand. I don't know what you call this. I think it's a boom. It's used in like radio broadcast. A lot of professional streamers and YouTubers have this thing. I've always wanted one. I got one. I'm happy. I got a nice capture device, which I need to mention, the quality of the videos in this gameplay you're watching, the quality is going to change because I'm still testing it out. Like, I'm trying to find the best format or quality rating for the videos I want to make. I want to get as high a quality as I can without suffering the long-term quality of the video, if that makes any sense. Anyways, once I get a new computer, a lot of this won't be an issue anymore, but until then, gotta deal with it. So anyways, like I said, October, we make the trip from San Diego to Montana. We find out after we get to Montana that the house won't be closing for 2.5 more weeks. Shoot me in the face now, please. So this is the part of the story where I want to mention something, but due to certain circumstances currently ongoing, I'm going to defer this situation for now and simply say that we got lucky that I happen to know someone in Montana. I would really like to tell this part of the story, but I can't because reasons. Maybe somewhere in the near future I can come back to this and explain what happened here, but I need to skip over it for now. Anyways, we finally get in the house 2 weeks later, and we were very ill prepared for everything that came with this house. Without going into anything specific, of course, let's just say we were really unprepared for this house. And the last year has been a very trying set of circumstances that we've all learned from and are more prepared for going into this winter. We were less prepared last winter. We're more prepared this winter, thank God. But that being said, I love my home. I can honestly say without a shadow of a doubt, it took 36 years roundabout to get here. I will not be leaving this house unless it's to tear it down and rebuild on the site. That's about the only reason I'm going to move out of this house. And that's only temporary. And then I get to move back into my permanent home, which ultimately we already know at some point when we can afford to do so, we are going to tear down and rebuild. That is not anytime soon. So, that's a thing. But again, moving forward and upward and onward, yeah, so got into the house, been here since about the end of October. I got sick super bad from about beginning of October-ish all the way up until January. Now, just to paint a picture of just how bad things were, we got here with no money in our pockets, no money for groceries, no money for furniture, no money for nothing. We were able to bring with us a very small selection of items, which included me and my brother's consoles, my computer, my TVs, My bed. That's it. My brother's bed. That's it. My dad's computer, a couple, like I said, very small, whatever we could fit in my dad's minivan. And that wasn't much. And needless to say, we got all the way through the trip, get into the house, and quickly realized just how empty our house is because we don't have diddly squat in here. So that's been very noticeable. And as time has gone on, it's become even more and more noticeable just how empty our house is. But again, money has been a big issue since we got here. We are only now starting to be in a better position. We're not in a great position, but we're in a better position. This time next year, we will be in a much better position, and we'll definitely have all of our stuff from San Diego finally moved down here. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass dealing with this whole situation, and I hated it. I hated the trip. I hated the whole process. I hated everything. The only thing good that came out of it is that I won't have to do this again for a very long time, and unless I want to. That's the benefit here. So the house does need a lot of work. That's the downside. But we're in it. It's done. No longer in California. So far, the scariest thing that's happened while I have lived here literally happened yesterday. I want to just to date this video for you guys and when I'm recording this commentary. It is currently August 12th, 2019. It is also around about 9:05 at night. The sun is currently about to fully set. Around this time yesterday, actually a couple hours beforehand and up until about this time yesterday, there was a tornado watch in my area. That is about the scariest thing that's happened so far. Actually, that's not entirely true. Next to that, the only other incident that has occurred since we've lived here that scared the crap out of me happened on January 1st. And it involved my dad. My dad, being the stubborn pain in the ass that he is, decided he wanted to go to the store. Mind you, it had snowed. We're from California, even though my dad's technically from Kentucky, but he hasn't dealt with that kind of weather in a really long time. Needless to say, at his age, he thought, yeah, I can go out, no problem. Yep, that didn't go well, as he ended up slipping and falling and dislocating both of his shoulders, and it has taken the majority of this year for him to heal from that, but he is thankfully very much in a good place as of now, and like I said, things have gotten better over time since we got here, and if everything continues on this path, they're only going to continue to get better. We had a slight hiccup this month with money, but it was user error more than anything else. So other than that, everything's good. But that's the story of what's been going on over the last year or so. I want to talk about what's going to be happening, specifically with my channel over the next few months. As I'm pretty sure most of you are already aware, in October, Destiny 2 is getting a pretty big expansion in Shadowkeep. And yes, I will be doing content on it. I'm already going to be doing content on Destiny, and I have a lot of things I want to talk about, especially the current state of the game. Now, as of this recording, I do not know if Luke Smith has posted his state of the game address thing that he was supposed to do this week. If he has, then I may or may not do the video I want to do, but I'm probably still going to do it anyways. On top of that, I will be doing Borderlands 3 content. In fact, I will be doing a full first playthrough from the very start of the game until the last available playthrough in the game is done, and I have reached max level available at that time. That is the playthrough. I want to point out, though, this isn't going to be an uncut playthrough. I will be cutting out cinematics and other stuff, and of course I will be trying to entertain you guys more with the content as opposed to just click, okay, the video's done, didn't really edit it or do anything, I just added some graphics, here you go, have fun! Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I will be doing heavily edited content going forward, so hopefully that's something you guys are interested in seeing. because it's coming very soon. Like, moving on though, outside of Borderlands 3 and of course the Destiny, yes, I am going to be doing some Warframe content, and I don't know how much Warframe content I'm going to do. I want to say I'm going to try and do something at least once or twice a month. But right now, my primary content is going to be Destiny and getting tongue-tied here, and Borderlands. I will potentially do a playthrough of the Modern Warfare campaign, but I won't be doing that when the game comes out for very obvious reasons, considering Destiny's coming out in October. And I just realized something. Modern Warfare and Destiny 2's Shadowkeep come out right around the same time. I think it's a week apart. I think Bungie made the move just to kind of screw with Activision's sale numbers. I don't think they're going to succeed, but let's see what happens. In any event, though, as I said before, these episodes will usually be between 20 and 30 minutes long. And I make mention of that again because pretty much I've reached the end of everything I need to talk about, and instead of just sitting here rambling, I'm going to just go ahead and call it a video. I thank you guys for joining me. I will point out right now that I do have the Destiny 2 video that I want to do. That's actually going to be coming out in a few days. And then, of course, I want to talk about Borderlands 3 and what I'm excited for. Both of those videos shouldn't be super long, but we'll see how things go with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, thinking about it right now. I still using my e-cig. Still don't drink. Still have no kids. Still not married. Still just a single fat guy from California. Except now I'm living in Montana. I thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I promise future episodes will be a lot more fun. I won't be talking about a lot of stupid stuff like moving and name changes and stuff. So, with that said, as always, adios.